Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for a Magic News. Tuesday tends to be Magic News Day. I'm actually filming this on a Tuesday as well. It's rare that I actually film a video on the same day that it actually goes up, but I haven't had time to film it before now, and I'm spending the entire day today sorting out my warehouse and getting all the boxes out and chucking some stuff away. So it's getting filmed right now. I hope you guys are having a good week, and yeah, this is your non-stop weekly dose of all of the stuff that's happening in the Magic community. I'm going to go through a ton of news. There's a lot actually going on this week, a lot of things to announce, and also at the end of the Magic News I'm going to talk about something that I think is happening in the Magic community right now, and it's not a great thing in my opinion to happen, but you know, we'll put that opinion piece at the end. But first of all, we're going to get straight into it with this week's Magic News, and don't forget, if you have any news of your own, please drop it down below in the comments and I will get to it next week. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is a new podcast that has just launched, and this is by Alon from the Magic Alon Society. If you don't know who Alon is, I interviewed him recently, and Alon is an inspiration in this world. He really is. Alon is 18, and he has achieved more at the age of 18 and done more for the community than I think most people will do by the time they've retired, and he's done it selflessly. He's created a community where people can come together and they can interact and chat and so on and so forth. So two things. Number one, first of all, he's launched a new podcast. How this guy has time to do all this, I don't know. I know he's very studious. He's very serious about his education. I know he loves magic. He's constantly performing. He's just started doing his own mentalism show, which he's been debuting and putting together. He's got a YouTube channel where he reviews products, and on top of everything he does for the community, it's insane, really, everything that he does. And now he's decided to throw a podcast into the mix as well. You can get it as a podcast, you can get it on YouTube as well, and you just go onto his channel. But it's basically an interview segment. It's not going to be like Talk Magic. He says at the beginning, you know, this is not going to be a 2-hour interview thing where we're going to spend hours delving deep into your life. He keeps it kind of succinct, about 30 or 40 minutes, and really just, he's a great interviewer. The first episode went up, and he was interviewing Rafferty Coop. Now, if you don't know who Rafferty Coop is, he's the current YMC, Young Magician Club, Stage Magician of the Year. He won that last year with an incredible act. And he is, although he hasn't posted much on Instagram, his Instagram channel has blown up, as it should do, because it is so incredible, the videos that he's putting up on there. He's got a great look. He's got an awesome future. He's a really nice guy. Anyway, the first interview is with Rafferty Coop. It is a fascinating interview. I don't watch that much YouTube, but I'm absolutely 100% going to be watching Alon's new YouTube series, new podcast, whatever you want to call it. So episode 1 is up there right now. You can go check it out now. I also want to I also want to say that a couple of weeks ago on the Q&A, somebody asked me about Discord, and I referenced some Discord channels that were active and some that weren't active. And Ryland has told me that I should have mentioned the Alon Magic Society's Discord. I don't really do Discord. I'm old. And I don't think Ryland does Discord either, but he told me that Alon was upset that I didn't mention the Discord channel for the Alon Magic Society. I don't really do Discord, but you know, if there's any community that's going to have an active Discord, it's going to be Alon. So I guess if you're on Discord, go check out Alon's Discord channel as well. But there you go. That is the brand new podcast that is launched right now. Let's move on. Talking about podcasts, we should talk about another podcast that is launching soon, or has just launched, and that's Lloyd Barnes' new podcast. So Lloyd already does the Magic podcast with me, which, gets uploaded sporadically. He already does the Black Arts podcast with Jake Keane, which gets uploaded sporadically. But he started his own podcast now, and the reason we can't do weekly episodes of the Magic podcast is purely because Lloyd is very, very busy. I'm very busy, and we can't get our schedules to mesh an awful lot. And Lloyd's concept with this new podcast is that, sometimes he's awake at 2 o'clock in the morning because he's got a baby, and it's the perfect time for him to film. So his kind of thing is he should be able to be more regular with this podcast because it's on his own schedule instead of having to have his schedule mesh with somebody else's. Well, the first episode went up. You can see it on his YouTube channel. And it's all about his opinions of what's going on in magic. Lloyd, as you know, is one of my best friends in the world. Lloyd is somebody who you should absolutely listen to. If he's got something to say, you should listen to him because he has achieved more in this industry than most people will ever achieve. And I know there's naysayers that will say negative things about Lloyd as they do about me, but the bottom line is you can't denounce or take away the fact that this guy has been a huge success in the magic community and continues to be a huge success in the magic community. So there you go. If you want to see Lloyd's new podcast, just go onto his YouTube channel and you can see it right there. Okay, now talking about conventions over here in the UK, we should talk about the Magic Circle Convention. This is going up on Tuesday. The Magic Circle Convention is taking place this Sunday. So this Sunday is the Magic Circle Convention in London. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a dealer room. I'm going to be there. Ryland's going to be there. Matt's going to be there. We've got an amazing gala show that is sold out apparently now. Some incredible lecturers. There's a ton of stuff going on, and it's all there. You know, if you want to come along, please do so. I don't know if there's any tickets left. I know that even if there are no tickets left, you can get a ticket to just the dealers, and you can hang out and session with the magicians that are there and hang out in the dealer room. So I believe there are dealer only tickets, but yeah, the Magic Circle Convention this Sunday always proves to be good, so make sure that you go and check it out. If you are anywhere near the London area, it's going to be amazing. Okay, so another thing that I would like to talk about is Jason Ladanye. Okay, or Jason Ladanye. Some people call him. I always get his name wrong, and I know there's going to be people in the comments that say, "Craig, you're so disrespectful. You can't even get his name right." And you know what? You're completely 100% correct. I can't get his name right. It's one of these things that will not stick in my head. I have interviewed him. I have asked him numerous times in person his name, how to pronounce it, and for some reason, when I get in front of a camera, I just have a mental blank. So if Jason's watching this, I apologize. However, I had somebody comment on the Magic News last week, and they actually said, "I'd love your opinion on the controversy that's taking place at the moment with Jason on Reddit." And I wasn't aware of any controversy that's taking place on Reddit at the moment with Jason Ladanye. So I went on Reddit, and I don't really do Reddit. I have a Reddit account, but I don't really do Reddit. But I went on Reddit and I searched his name, and there's a few posts that come up from a few months ago. Nothing recent that I can see, unless I'm missing anything. I'm not a Reddit user really, so I don't know if I was missing something. But something that comes up again and again and again on Reddit is to do with his content that he puts on social media, and more specifically how he's a scam artist, because what he is saying he's doing on social media he's not really doing. And there were a couple of posts, well, several posts of people saying, well, you know, when he says he's doing this on social media, he's not really doing this. And there was one guy that said I challenged him to do this particular effect. I think it was like, show a deck is shuffled, shuffle it, and then show it's in new deck order. And Jason did a video specifically about that, where he shuffled a deck and showed it was in new deck order. And the guy then said, no, you didn't show the deck was shuffled at the beginning, you cheated, you're a scam artist. And Jason blocked him, and he's like, I've heard that a lot of people get blocked by Jason. If you challenge his skill or his authority or his ability, then he's going to block you. And that's the only controversy that I can see on there. So unless I'm missing something, that's the only controversy. And my attitude is, and I'll be, if you want my opinion, I'll give it. And I can only give my opinion on that I found. So first of all, people saying that, you know, he's doing stuff on video that he's not doing in real life. Very possibly. Very possibly. Jason has made a reputation for being somebody who is incredible at sleight of hand and incredible with cards. And he is incredible with the deck of cards. He is incredible with sleight of hand. But you know what? there is a big disconnect between something that you do on social media and something you do in real life. And what I mean by that is you might do something on social media, you might do something as a content creator, and Jason is a content creator. You might do something as a content creator that you can film 10, 15 times, and then you get it right and you put it on social media, that if you're in front of a live audience, a paying audience that are paying for you to be there, you don't want to take that risk. You know you can do it, but it might not fit that environment for a few different reasons. One, the trick that you're doing might not work in the environment in which you're performing, or the trick that you're doing might not work with the audience you're performing it for, or the trick that you're doing just might be the sort of trick that's not 100% surefire, and this is an important client, and you can replicate that same feat by doing something differently that will still achieve the same thing, but you haven't got the risk that you will have if you do the thing that was done on social media. So for people that are saying, well, you know, he does stuff on social media and he doesn't do it live, one, he probably could, but two, if he chooses not to, that's his choice. If he's at a live gig, whether it be a lecture or whether it be a booking or whatever the case may be, if he's there live and he chooses not to do something that he's done on social media or is put in one of his books, that's his decision. He can do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't have to pander to somebody. It's his decision what he does and what he doesn't do. And in terms of blocking somebody, and I had to read this several times, but the guy said he challenged Jason to do something, so Jason did it, and then he called him out and called him a scam artist because he didn't do it that way. So first of all, what you asked him to do is impossible. It is completely impossible to take a shuffled deck of cards, shuffle it some more, and then show it's in new deck order. It is completely impossible. Even someone with the skill of Jason wouldn't be able to do that. Now, there's ways of doing it with maybe gaff decks, or there's ways of doing it with maybe a longer routine where during the course of 4 or 5 effects, you're slowly stacking the deck and culling the deck, and you know, you're slowly separating the cards, so at the end you've got new deck order, or maybe even a deck switch. There's a few ways of doing it that way, but to take a cold shuffled deck, shuffle it, and then show it's in new deck order, that's completely impossible. And if you know anything about card magic, you would know that that is completely impossible, and that can't be done. Just, it can't. So what Jason did in the scenario that you painted here is he went, well, you know what, I'm going to do something similar. So he took a deck of cards, and I didn't see the video, but it was described as he didn't show the faces, but he shuffled the cards thoroughly and then showed they were in new deck order. So obviously he's doing a series of false cuts and false mixes, and he's incredible at false shuffles and false cuts. And, you know, that's fine as far as I'm concerned. To then be called out for being a scam artist because he didn't stick to the parameters that you laid down, well, you know, honestly, I think that's a completely dick move on your part, to be perfectly honest. And this is the problem. Anybody who puts themselves out on social media, you get this, I get this, Jason gets this. Anybody who puts themselves on social media, they get this. The people that are commenting think they know the person at the end of the video camera and feel like they can say whatever the hell they want to say because they're they're protected by the anonymity of being behind the screen. And you wouldn't say that to the guy's face in person. You wouldn't turn around to him and say, you're a scam. You just wouldn't do that. So if you want to act all Billy Big Bollocks because you're saying something to the guy that you wouldn't say to him in person, just because he didn't literally do your little challenge by the letter, well, that's kind of crap as far as I'm concerned. Especially as you knew that that would have been impossible to do in the first place. And as for him blocking you, fair play. I probably would have done the same thing. If you called me out and called me a scam artist after I put a video up as a response to a question of yours, and then you go and attack me, you'd probably get blocked as well. My problem that I had on this channel up until recently, when I took my little break, is I never blocked anybody. Now, if somebody comes and says something really negative to me, or they've got nothing to say but horrible comments, I'm going to block them. And I don't care, because it's more important. My mental health is more important. If I have to sit here and read comments about people just, like being mean, that's not going to make me feel great. And I'm sure it's the same thing with Jason. I don't blame him for blocking anybody. So yeah, you want to know, if that's what, when you ask the question, what do I think of the controversy surrounding Jason Ladanye, if that's the controversy that you're talking about, I don't think he's done anything wrong. The bottom line is, there was one thing that I read. I read one person said he's not as good a magician as he says he is. He's not as good as cards as he says he is. He's got a terrible, abrasive personality. He's embarrassing, and he is making magic a joke. And I couldn't believe me reading that. This is a guy that uploads content on YouTube, on social media platforms, on Instagram, whatever, all of the time, making magic cool, getting people interested in what he's doing without actually exposing method. And let's be honest, that's the easy way to do this. The easy way to actually get a following on social media is to expose magic. He's not doing that. He's doing it through skill and engagement and interaction. And you're saying he's bad for magic. You're saying he's an embarrassment. You're saying he's what's wrong in magic. There's more people getting into magic because of what he's doing than almost anybody right now. And anybody who would call him out as being an embarrassment literally has no idea what they're talking about. Right, before we carry on with other magic news related things, let's talk about some of the stuff that's come out over the last few days. As normal, I haven't watched the tutorial for this yet. I'm literally reacting to what I've just seen, which is a trailer and the ad copy, and then kind of highlighting some stuff that I think looks quite good. However, the first thing I have seen, the first thing is Penguin Magic have gone balls deep with their sponge balls. If you go onto Penguin Magic's for new arrivals, it's all about the sponge balls, because what Penguin have done is they have launched their own line of sponge balls with some absolutely incredible tutorials attached too. Now, I reviewed Murphy's balls a few months ago, and they were great. I would say that Murphy's Magic balls are just as good. If the colour, I think, is a little bit better than the Murphy's balls. The actual consistency, the actual feel of Austin Murphy's balls versus a Jar's balls, they feel the same. They've both got the same sort of consistency. They're both very squishy, so you can palm them in your hand very easily. You can roll them around in your hand. You can fit two in one hand very, very easily. The consistency of both of their balls are the same, but I think that the Penguin balls, I think a Jar's balls, are slightly more of a vibrant colour than the Murphy's balls. Not that anybody would notice, but the big thing is it looks to me like the Penguin balls are cheaper, that they have cheaper balls. The balls tend to be a better price compared to the Murphy's balls. Now, you know, it's up to you. When you want to get new balls, it's up to you whether you get Austin's balls or you get a Jar's balls. It's completely up to you which balls you get. They're both great. You know, there's nothing wrong with either of their balls. Their balls are fantastic. I would say that Austin's got more gimmicked balls. You know, he's got a lot of gimmicks. He's got his sponge ding dong and a whole bunch of different stuff, while a Jar's focused more on the actual balls and the colour of the balls and the size of the balls. I believe, I might be wrong, but I think the largest that a Jar's balls, you know, the Penguin balls, the largest size that they go is bigger than Austin's balls. I think that his balls might be a bit bigger, but both sets are good. So it's up to you. I know that Penguin have got big things planned with their balls in the future. I know that there's going to be more tutorials. I know the tutorial that comes with the balls by Eric Tate is great. You see a lot of live performances of Eric actually going out and performing with his balls in public, and that's wonderful, because to be honest, when Murphy's did their balls, they had Javier show his balls to everybody and on the tutorial. And although Javier did a great job of explaining how the balls work and what happens, he wasn't actually going out there showing balls to real people in the real world. And what Eric's done is he's actually gone to the next level, and you see lots of videos of him going out into bars and nightclubs and places around Columbus and literally getting his balls out and showing his balls to everybody, and letting you get to see the reaction of what people feel when they see Eric's balls, and how, you know, how his routine that he teaches affects people in the real world, and you didn't get to see that with Murphy. So it's nice that they get live performance footage. So there's that going for it as well, and I know they've filmed other footage that's going to be coming out in the future as well. I mean, to be honest, if you're out looking for a set of balls and you want a good set of balls Either one of them are fine. You're not going to be disappointed with the consistency. You're not going to be disappointed with the color. So maybe you have a look at the price, you have a look at the teaching material, and you decide either way. However, now we can say that the two biggest players in the game both have multiple different ball sets, and you get to choose which balls you go for. Okay, having got Penguins balls out the way, let's talk about some other stuff that's come out. So Inflation by Marcelo Insua is a hopping half style routine that's just recently come out. And it's by Tango Magic. Obviously, those guys know a thing or two about creating gimmick coins. And it is essentially a hopping halves, but it's with a Chinese coin instead of a copper coin. So normally hopping halves has a silver coin and a copper coin. This has a Chinese coin and a silver coin. And the trailer is very honest. You get to see exactly what's going on. It looks like a very nicely made set. So we've got Inflation by Marcelo Insua. The other thing is, Penguin have just put up for sale, I say for sale because it's absolutely free, a new Franz Harari documentary. Now, about a year or two ago, they put up a Franz Harari documentary for free, and now they've just put up this second documentary again for free. So in other words, you don't pay for this, you just literally add it to your cart, you go through the checkout system, and it's going to go into your account for free, which is amazing. I don't know if it's going to stay free forever, but it's worth actually watching that, because Franz Harari is one of the biggest, illusionists on the planet. And this particular documentary that's just literally been uploaded, it's all about his imagination tour, not imagination, imagine nation. It's all about his imagination show and tour. And the name of the documentary is The Show Must Go On. And the whole idea of it is it's all about the hardship and all about the problems he faced putting the show on and how he got around it, which is something that I think that all magicians, regardless of whether you want to be an illusionist or not, should be paying attention to. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but you can download it for free. So you can get that directly from Penguin Magic right now. Just search Franz Harari. Also, something that I've seen that's just recently come out, which is a genius idea, is the multi-QR by Marcus Cruz. Now, I'm not a big fan of Marcus Cruz material. I think that it's not very well made, but I am still going to be picking this up purely because I think it's a genius idea. So what Marcus has done is he's taken the original dots next, where you say, look, on this side there's 3, on this side there's 4, on this side there's 2, on this side, that kind of trick. And there's been a few different versions of that over the year. It's called Dots Next, or Dots Impossible, I think it's been known as in the past. Well, Marcus has done it with a QR code. So it's exactly the same thing. If you know the original method, it's the same thing, but he's got a QR code, and it's got a big square in the middle on one side, 2 squares in the corner on the other side, and it's the same routine. It's exactly the same routine, but brought bang up to date. These days, everybody knows what a QR code is, and having the ability to do this trick with a QR code, I think you'd be able to even play this to an adult audience as well as a kid show audience, and I love this idea. So multi-QR, I think, could be a real big winner. I think it's a great way to elevate and modernize a classic of magic. Also, there's a new download that's just come out from Vanishing Ink that I haven't picked up yet, but I'm going to, called Coindring by Azim. I really can't pronounce his surname. Gulviev, I think it might be. But if I butchered your name, I'm very sorry. I'm basing this purely on the trailer, but this looks like the most beautiful and sublime coin magic that I've ever seen. Like, it looks like it's up there with the sort of thing that you would see the best coin magicians in the world do. It's a download. You can get it from Vanishing Ink right now, and it looks spectacular. So those are the things that I've seen in the magic community that have been released this week that I've looked at and I've thought, yeah, that looks great. Okay, a few other pieces of news very, very quickly. First of all, let's talk about AGT. So I've been talking about AGT every single week. America's Got Talent. They are really deep into their the audition process right now, and we've talked about a few acts that have gone through and that have done really well. If you haven't checked out the clown act from last week, please do so, because frankly it's one of the best uses for hook that I've ever seen. But they just had an absolute legend in the magic community go on AGT, Cyril. Now, we all know Cyril. Cyril has created some of the best magic I have ever seen. Cyril's created some of the best magic that anyone's ever seen. I know when he burst onto the scene, everything went viral. His coin through the glass table went viral. Pulling the burger out of the sign went viral. You know, this is a guy that's been there, done it all, bought the t-shirt, been on TV, an absolute ton. Well, he went on America's Got Talent as an audition, which was kind of interesting because, you know, people that are negative about Britain's Got Talent and America's Got Talent, they'll say, hey, how can an established act go on America's Got Talent? How could it's meant to be for up and comers? It's meant to be people looking for their big break. And how can this person go on there because they've already had their big break? It doesn't make any sense. I've never looked at the Got Talent series like that. I look at the Got Talent series as it's a platform for somebody who wants to become better known and wants to showcase their talents to a very, very big audience. And as much success as Cyril has had, I imagine that the majority of the viewing public, the lay people, wouldn't know who Cyril is, especially in America. So he might want to do America's Got Talent because he wants to break America. He wants to, you know, launch a career for himself over in the States. And he thinks the best way to do that is by going on AGT. Just because we know who he is and just because he's really well known in another country doesn't mean that AGT is off limits. It's not, you know. A lot of the time when magicians turn around and go, well, this person shouldn't have been on this program because of this, you know, I disagree. I think that a lot of these people are better known by us than they are by the general public. And I think Cyril is a perfect example. But that wasn't the big controversy. So Cyril did a really cool card trick using some chopsticks. So he had, you know, he had somebody come up on stage, one of the judges, I think, and he had somebody pick a card, and it was all to do with chopsticks and balancing things on chopsticks, and you know, it was a beautiful routine. You can go check it out on the YouTube channel. That's not what this is about. It was kind of a 3-phase routine. So the first 2 phases really built up to a really strong moment at the end of the second phase, and the judges and the whole audience went crazy. Like everybody was clapping, everyone was cheering, everybody was going mad, and it was like, whoa, that's amazing. And then he carried on and he did a third phase. And the third phase that he did was equally as good. It was basically a card stab with a card and a chopstick, and it was good. It was very, very good. But what happened during that third phase is the judges lost interest a little bit, and I think he got 2 buzzers. I think Mel B and I think Simon buzzed him, and the audience kind of, not the audience were loving him the entire time, but it kind of, the judges lost interest to the point that they X'd him before the end of the act. And the whole narrative here is that he eventually got through with 3 yeses, you know, but Simon didn't give him a yes because he said, hey, it went on a little bit too long. You don't understand about pacing. You don't understand about, you know, like a bunch of different stuff. And, you know, a lot of people are in arms about this. A lot of people are saying, well, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. How can you not have Cyril go through an America's Got Talent? He's one of the greatest magicians of all time. Why would he not go through? Well, 1, he's gone through. 2, look, personally, I think Cyril is amazing, and I thought the act that he presented on AGT was brilliant. And let's be honest, it was far better than anything I could have done. I would not be able to touch that. If I went on America's Got Talent, I would just be screwed, right? So he did an amazing job. I would say, you know, it probably wasn't the best choice, honestly, to do a card trick. I think that doing a card trick on any Got Talent that involves Simon Cowell is a risk. When Ryland went on Britain's Got Talent, I remember speaking to Russ Stevens, and he was like, look, there's no point in doing card tricks. Simon just doesn't like card tricks. And they've seen on America's Got Talent some of the best card tricks ever. I mean, they've had Shin Lim on there, who keeps coming back on a regular basis as a guest artist. And he's just one of the incredible acts on there. So, like, that's, you know, unless it's incredible, I think it's a risk doing a card trick. I remember watching Jasper Cherry years ago when he went on Britain's Got Talent, and he went down to the judge's desk and he says, "Yeah, the opening line was, you've probably seen too many card tricks at this point." And Simon was like, "Yep." And he's openly said, "I don't like card tricks." So I think it's a risk right there doing a card trick, especially as you're Cyril and you have the ability to do anything. Like, the amount of magic that I've seen him do that doesn't involve playing cards is incredible. Like, the stuff that he could do with, you know, I referenced the coins through the table earlier. You know, if you do a coins through table, if you do your visual coins through table and you have that set up just like you've done it before, that's unlike anything that they've seen before. So unless he's thinking, well, I'll save that for the semi-final or whatever, I'm not too sure. I think that I think that doing card tricks was a risk. Now, having said that, it did pay off insofar as after the first two phases, he had the audience on their feet, he had the judges on their feet. I think I would have probably called an audible there and just stopped. Now, I know it's very difficult because the audition is planned out. Well, it's not planned out. The semi-final is absolutely planned out. But with the audition, you've blocked it once before. You've blocked it through already. But, you know, they're not going to stop the thing just because you decide to end it right there. I think that would have been a moment where you could have gone, right, okay, I'm going to stop here. It's not going to get any better than that. I agree. You can't really tell a performer like Cyril how to, you know, pace his show. You know, he's been there, done that, bought the T-shirts. But I don't think any of the judges were aware of who Cyril is. I don't think any of the judges knew who he is. And I don't think, you know, from their point of view, he's somebody that's coming on this show looking for a big break. Now, I'm going to have the conspiracy theorists that are going to comment down below and they're going to go, don't be ridiculous. Simon is aware of absolutely every act that comes on here. He's probably been scouted by the judges or whatever. I really don't think that's the case. Simon Cowell's a bit too busy to be involved in that. A lot of that is handled by production. So, you know, maybe, you know, they don't realise how revered Cyril is. And again, he is to magicians and he is in his own country, but he's not in America. And let's be honest, why would Cyril made the decision to go on America's Got Talent. Forget about whether it was the right decision or not. Forget about whether he should be allowed to go on or not. He personally, nobody held him at gunpoint and said, go on America's Got Talent. He chose to do that. So he obviously felt that there was a reason to go on America's Got Talent that would further his career. I've talked about this on this channel before. I would never go on a Got Talent purely because there's too much risk and there's not enough reward. I'm in a good place in my career. I don't need to prove anything and I don't want to go beyond where I am. So I wouldn't need that. Cyril, however, obviously feels that maybe he wants to break America or something. I'm not too sure. But in terms of what happened, yeah, it wasn't great that the great Cyril got X'd twice and only just made it through with the skin of his teeth. But the bottom line is he made it through. And, you know, whether we see him again, I'm not too sure. But the bottom line is, you know, he did a good job. And, you know, maybe if somebody's planning on going on Got Talent in the future, then a lesson can be learned from this whole process. Okay, last couple of quick pieces of news. So first of all, we have I am lecturing at the Cardiff Magic Society on Monday. So this Monday coming up, I think it's the 23rd, I will be lecturing at the Cardiff Magic Society with a brand new lecture. So if you would like to come along and watch my lecture in Cardiff on Monday, I would love for you to be there. That would be absolutely amazing. Come along and watch a brand new lecture. I don't lecture very often. Having said that, I've lectured a lot this month. It's been weird, but I don't normally lecture very often. So if you want to come along and watch the lecture, I would love you to do so. Talking about the lecture, I'm also going to be lecturing at the Alon Magic Society. We talked about Alon right at the beginning of the Magic News. Well, I am going to be lecturing at the Alon Magic Society, and I am going to be lecturing on non-card magic, I believe. It's going to be an online lecture. It's going to be free for everyone to attend. It's my third lecture that I've done for the society, and I am very, very excited about it. I believe it's Sunday the 29th of June. I might be wrong. I believe it is. However, I am going to put a link down below, and I'm going to be talking more about this lecture on the lead up to it, because this is a one-off lecture for me. It's something I've put together. It's a one-off lecture. They're never going to see it again. It's one time and one time only, and it's going to be very, very exciting, and it's free. I won Lecture of the Year last year with my lecture for the Alon Magic Society, and my plan is to win it again with what I do at the end of this month. So if you want to see a free lecture of mine online, go join the Alon Magic Society and you're going to be able to check it out. And a final piece of news that I have for you is Carl and Dave. Now, if you don't know who Carl and Dave is, Carl Charlesworth and Dave Allen, two iconic names in the UK magic scene. They have an illusion show that's hilarious called Carl and Dave. They have won numerous awards. Well, they have just opened up their own magic venue. It's amazing when magic venues open up. So it's called the Funky Snake Escape Rooms and Magic Theatre, and it's in Leighton Buzzard. You can go check out the website by going to funkysnakeescape.co.uk. That's funkysnakeescape.co.uk. It's escape rooms. It's got its own theatre at the back. It's got a bar area. They've got visiting artists all the time. They're putting regular shows on. Carl and Dave themselves are hilarious. Both individually, they're amazing. Together, they're awesome. You combine that with artists. Carl and Dave know everybody, so they're going to have lots of great artists coming in. And it sounds like it's going to be an absolute blast. I'm definitely going to try and make it down there at some point. If you go on their website, you can see the dates that are coming up, the artists that are going to be there, and you can get tickets. So congratulations. If you're watching this, Carl and Dave, congratulations. And it's great to see another magic venue opened up in the UK. So that's the magic news for this week. Thank you once again for joining me right here. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You want to have any magic news talked about, just put it down below. Don't forget to join the Netrix. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. It's called the Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. We've got almost 1,000 pieces of 1,000 tricks and tutorials, and we keep adding to it all the time. So if you want to become a member, please do so. Go check it out. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig. This is your Magic News, and this has been Magic TV.